Okay, you guys are going to hear me discuss this yard in a couple minutes when it shows me in my truck talking to you guys and the history of this yard. Many of you already know, but anyway, I'm only out mowing today because I made a smart decision yesterday. We got a ton of rain lately, as we've been getting every day, and then it rained all night last night and half the morning today up until about 10, 11 o'clock today. I ended up going out and started cutting at about 1 o'clock, but if you watch yesterday's video, you hear me talk about I got done with my Monday list and then I started going into my Tuesday list. I was mowing the medical complexes, a lot of my commercials, and then a few of my residentials. Well, what I did was I hopped and skipped around and mowed all the properties that I know hold water like there's no tomorrow. I knew the weather that was coming, and I knew out of all my lawns that I had on my Tuesday list, I knew which ones drain the best and which ones like to hold water. So I hopped around and I knocked out all the ones I knew that would hold water, that there would be no way I could get on today after the rain I knew was coming last night, and I knew that we were going to have a bunch of rain this morning. So what I ended up doing was, like I said, I did those and I saved these ones for today, and it turned out really well. These yards were soaking wet, but there was no standing water and no water bad enough that I was leaving marks. I just had to deal with mowing wet grass, which I had a lot of clumps in a lot of certain areas, and then some of it I had to bag, like you see here. And that's just how it was. Here I am. I mow 3 houses right in the section right here, and you'll hear me talk about that in a minute. But people asked me yesterday, I never end up explaining why I decided to take the X blades off this mower, and they are off it right now. I really like it, and I definitely feel there's a place for those X blades, but I'm just not going to run them right now. My main reason, besides, like I said, you feel the RPMs a little bit lower. I don't really think it's enough to hurt it or affect it, but my main reason for taking those off was I was going through a lot more fuel. I'm not talking just a little bit. I'm talking a very big noticeable difference in fuel with running those X blades versus running just the standard 3 blades on it. Where I could mow all day long with this mower without refilling it, I was burning through a tank and a half of fuel in one day of mowing just because running those blades. Okay, what you just saw me mowing, that backyard with the walker, that's one that I've always filmed every year. It's always titled my first lawn of the year. And I don't know why I haven't filmed it yet this year, but I should make a video and it being just that backyard in each year, like over like a 6-year period. I think I've been doing it like 6 years or 5 years, something like that. And just the different mowers I've used each year, and just the difference in how I look, I guess, over those years, and just make the video just that, and with just short clips of each year me mowing it. But anyway, I mowed that backyard, and then you've seen me mow a front yard, like sidewalks. That's right over here. And then when I got done with that, I went to this house right here. So I mow these 3 all in the spot. Now that one you saw me mowing with the Wright, that front yard, the old man that lives there, great old man, you know, retired, worked his butt off slinging kegs of beer for a beer delivery company his whole life, and he just got really sick, and his kids abandoned him except for his one daughter, and she just milked him dry. And but she was too lazy to do anything. She stayed there with him, was supposed to be like his caretaker. Well, all she did was milk him dry, and I've literally watched her be smoking cigarettes out on the front porch when I go to mow, and she'll see me coming by, and I'll stop and I'll wait, and she won't even move out of the way so that I could mow there. And then she'll walk out to the street, get in some drug dealer's car for 10 minutes, get out and go back to smoking on the porch. The guy that you see me mow his backyard, he pays me to mow that because she's too lazy to do it. In the first year, this is my 2nd year mowing, and apparently he passed away now over the winter and the house is sold, but the first year I did it, I mowed the backyard too, and you got to push mow, and there was just dog crap everywhere, everywhere. And I told him, I'm like, you got to tell her she's got to pick that stuff up. It was just, it's horrendous back there. It's overgrown. It's just a nightmare. But I could barely even cut the grass. A girl like a foot tall all the time. But you can tell he used to take real good care of all his flower beds. There's actually sprinkler systems that run through the whole place over there. Like, he was very anal, very meticulous. It used to be beautiful, but she doesn't do anything. And she wouldn't pay to even have the grass mowed. So it got so tall, he was getting letters from the city. She didn't care. So he was going to get fined. So this guy, my customer I've had for years over here, just started paying me to do that. But anyway, she wouldn't pick up the dog crap. So she would tell him, she goes, well, why is that my problem that I had to mow through it? So I just stopped mowing that. So the whole rest of the year last year, I only mowed the front. And so far this year, only the front. And but that time that she wouldn't get out of the way, after I left, she called him and complained. She goes, you're paying him to mow it, and he wouldn't even mow the small part on the one side by the porch. He called me, and I told him exactly why, and he's like, what the hell's wrong with her? I said, you tell me, buddy. But anyway.
Okay, I've never filmed this front yard before. I don't think I've ever even filmed the backyard, but I've been mowing this yard for years, and the girl that lives here wanted me to take care of a front part in the beginning of this year, and it was the day that I had rented that Toro Dingo and I did the medical place, and I said I had another job to do. It was here. Along the front of the house there was a bunch of bushes she had cut down. We had to pull the stumps out, and then there's a huge round section in the middle of the yard. You can kind of tell the grass is a little greener right there. It actually is blending in very well. I know it kind of stands out on camera here, but standing back looking at the yard, it is blending in very well. But it was raised up about a foot and a half, and there was a tree in the middle, a couple bushes, rocks. Ryan and I dug it all out of there, and we tried tilling over the dirt that was left there. It turns out it was like crappy clay. It wasn't even that good of soil. We could only break it up so much. And normally when I put grass seed down, what I do is I rake it in a little bit and then throw starter fertilizer over it and then let the customer water it. We threw the grass seed on top of it, the starter fertilizer on that. We never raked it in, nothing. For 2 weeks it didn't look like it was doing anything. Then all of a sudden, it was almost overnight, it came in super tall, super thick. I cannot believe this grass actually grew here. You see it clumping up there. It's growing faster than the rest of the yard. But it is just the most beautiful part of the lawn there is. And like I said, it is starting to blend in, but I can't believe the grass actually came in here. It blew my mind. Like I said, we just threw the seed right on top of the dirt, and it was more like clay than anything. And the starter fertilizer, and up it came.